Welcome everyone to Organic Chat. This is PJ, your host. So today friends, I wanted to talk to you about how to embrace the change in a way that allows you to thrive no matter what is happening in our lives. An ancient Greek philosopher named Heraclitus said, change is the only constant in life. Whether you perceive it or not, everything is constantly changing. Environment, the weather, the economy, technology, society, our friends and family, friends, body, everything. The better able we are to anticipate, respond to and cope with the changes that are happening in our world, the easier would be for us to live the best life. Now, for some people, the idea of constant and never-ending change is terrifying because the change often involves risk in life, possibly of something big like our house, job, money, friends, family, just the loss of whatever is comfortable and familiar. And so, for some people, see changes as something to fear or dread instead of something that is new adventure as a potential to improve them or their life. Because that's what the change actually is. It's an opportunity for us to experience something new and to grow and evolve as a person. Change asks us to learn new things, to master new skills, to develop new qualities like flexibility, optimism, courage, and persistence. All of which automatically results in becoming a better, more capable person. And that's a good thing, because the ultimate goal of life is not just life and comfort, but it's life of mastery. Mastery only develops when we are confronted with challenges. When we try to resist the change, we rub ourselves in the experiences that cannot transform our life on both professional and personal level. When we welcome and embrace the change, our lives allow us to cooperate evolution, that is, reality of existence on earth. Think of it this way. Change is inevitable. It is like a river flowing downstream, following the law of gravity. And when we resist it, it feels like trying to row upstream during the flood. When we accept the change and embrace, it's like easily flowing downstream. We may still need to row to avoid the ramming or rock or bridge of our plan. We don't feel like we are fighting the current. Life gets easier. So here are some tips that we can deal with the change. The first one is take the time to fully understand and apply the equation E plus R equals to O. Now, E plus R equals those two ends for event plus response equals outcome. And it's our response to any event, not the event itself. It determines the outcome of our experiences. We can't change the event that happened. They just occur outside of our control. Top the rate of technological change occurring in the world. The internet, personal computers, smartphones, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Amazon, cable televisions, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and they're all examples of the changes that are events that have happened. Global warming, floods, earthquakes, mass migrations, huge populations, trade wars, massive layoffs, cyber attacks, and the rise of nationalism, and are all events that represent change in our world. As we probably notice, we cannot do much to the change those events, but we can change our responses to them and ensure the outcomes we experience in our lives as positive as possible. Now, one reason why change is becoming very difficult as we get older, if we have found cocoons of comfort, there are many comfort zones we create. Any disturbances of that, we are disturbed. When we are young, we are not looking for comfort, we are looking for life. Now, we are not looking for life, we are looking for comfort, safety. So, when we are 16, 18, we had wild dreams to what you want to do with our life. But by the time we become 25, we cut down all the frills and thought, this is not practical. I'm becoming practical now. All that we happened is becoming coward. But we are becoming practical and cut down many things and said, if I get a job, if I earn my living, that is okay. By the time we are 35, we think we don't get into trouble, that is enough. We are not looking forward to anything great happening. If we don't get into trouble, that's enough. But that's when you get start into troubles. So we are not looking at life with just, we are looking at safety. The more security oriented we are, the more disturbed we will be with every change that happens in our life. The essence of physical existence is change, isn't it? Everything is changing. Is there anything that is not changing? Everything in the existence is changing. The physical existence is constantly changing. The very essence of physical reality is just change. Nothing is constant. Even the so-called static states are dynamic in nature. Everything is changing. So if we resist the change, we are resisting the life. If we want an unchanging life, there's one beautiful place where nothing changes. That's our grave. Either we must go to grave or we must get enlightened if we don't want the change. Then somewhere inside everything is same. But otherwise, as long as we are the part of physical process of the existence, everything is a change. There is nothing that is not changing. This moment we are inhaling, next moment we are exhaling. It's a change. If we don't want the change, we stop it. So when you resist change, we must understand the process of the life. Not just our life. We are resisting the very fundamental process of life. Invariably, we will invite all kinds of suffering. So let's talk about our own homes. Anybody living in a joint family where we have a granddad, great-granddad, and a dad, and ourselves. The things that the child talks about, the great-granddad knows nothing about it. Even in our own home, we have created micro homes in our own homes. That is the change. In our own world, in our own mind, how many times during the week, suddenly we come across a gadget, we come across a news, we think, God, we don't know how many times we feel we are outdated. Every time we buy a new version of a new phone, we feel we are outdated. If you don't know, 90% of the things are inside the phone. After 2 years of buying the phone, we come to know that there is a technique inside the phone. You and me are constantly getting outdated in this world, right? Whether we change a lot is our outlook. But we would like to emphasize the change is real, the change happens to all of us, and as we live the life, and it is must. Our world, from sunrise to sunset, the day changes, right? From summer to winter, season changes. From life to death, life changes. And from creation to destruction, cosmos changes. Change is perhaps the most real thing on the autopilot. And as if it's moving naturally. And those of us who resist or refuse to change will have to face the danger of disappearing. That is for sure. This might be a strong word, but that is the fact. If we refuse or resist the change stubbornly, then there is a danger in disappearing the life. Let's go into the genetic world. 99.9% of all the species in this earth, we are constantly worried about saving the species, right? In the danger species, this is danger, that is danger. 99.9% of the species that ever existed in this earth are extinct. 5 billion species have disappeared before we could read the title of the book. We don't even know. These are the old combination that genetic zoologists have created. 5 billion species disappeared on the earth before we could read the names. From all those 5 billion, they say around 8.7 to a larger figure, let's take around 10 million species are existing parallelly with us. From 5 billion gone, 10 million now let's put the small numbers there. That's 0.2%. From that 10 million species which are supposed to exist, man has been able to catalog only 1 million out of it. Only 1 million, that 0.02% of the species we know, and we still think we are the savior of the world. It's not for the demotivation purpose I'm saying this. where we are standing and what is the truth. That is what I wanted to mention here. What happens to all those species? Did all the other species kill them? No, it is our own pride and arrogance that we think we see a spider around us in our own home. The first thing what we do is a cockroach, or especially us, we spank the cockroach or spider. The cockroach doesn't even know we exist. They don't have any plan to harm you or no plan to destroy you. All these species that are disappeared, they have become extinct. They could not change according to the time and as the world moves on. If refuse to change, there is the fear of becoming extinct. But the second thing is, if change is good and we can't change at the right time, you still have the danger to become irrelevant. Everybody knows the story of Kodak, a giant in the industry of films photography, whether you call it as horizontal or verticals, a giant. There was a time from 1988, that's what it began. In 1990, Kodak had a film industry, owned the market share of almost 90% of what went on in 1990s Kodak, whether it is a camera, whether it's a films, photography, any other things like Polaroid cameras, anything was Kodak, Kodak, Kodak. You know what happened? In 1975, one genius engineer of Kodak, his name is Steve Sasson, he had a brilliant idea of creating the digital cameras. In 1975, the Kodak industry decided if he produced digital cameras, it would be eat into their own profits because they were ruling the world. They said, let's not go digital. They did not change. Other companies started changing at the same time. When the time came in 2012, Kodak had to file bankruptcy. They did change, but they did not change at the right time. Most of us, after being continuously pushed, then we change, but at the time it is too late. The world doesn't wait. So of course, change, if you don't want to become extinct, if you don't change at the right time, it becomes irrelevant. There is more shocking. Even if you do change, if you do change at the right time, if you don't change at the right way, that is also too late. Who hasn't heard about Encyclopedia Britannica, the pool of knowledge? That is the place. You want to check the background? That is the place. 244 years Encyclopedia Britannica ruled the wisdom, and a big change. The digital age came. They did create multimedia CDs, but Wikipedia emerged. The world became more thirst. The world became editors. The world became monitors. And the world became the users. Encyclopedia Britannica closed shop in 2014. Change. Right time, in the right way, and the right instant. Let's be aware of the idea. I'd also want to emphasize, with the change, we feel that we are changing, but it was in the genetic engineering and the industrial way. But look at the technology that is constantly intruding in our daily lives. Technology has created wonders, and change it has brought to our daily life is the way you think, the way you communicate, the way you connect, the way you write and store information. What technology has done? Technology has gave power to climb down tree tops to the roofs of the skyscrapers. We are at the top, from treetops to the roofs of the skyscrapers, from the confines of the caves to the comforts of the cities. Technology has brought us. Look at what it has done. No animal 5,000 years ago, lion used to live in the cave. Even now, you leave the lion, it lives in the caves. Do you think the bulls and the cows, they've been eating grass for 10,000 years. Do you think they have changed their dishes and different types of grasses, Chinese grass, Mexican grass, South Indian dishes? No. They have the same food. Nothing has evolved in their fashion. Look at man. We have changed to such an extent that if you want to summarize the history of man's change through science, it would be summarized in 5 words. First one is man was nowhere. We were moving in the caves of the jungle. We didn't have name, we didn't have place. There was no cities. We didn't have address. No caveman said we were in the cave in the 4th floor. No interior, no gate community. So we were nowhere. Man did not have an identity. We were like animals roaming in the jungles, nowhere. Then because of our ability to think and change, we arrived somewhere. We had cities, villages, we had houses, colonies, we had avenues and address and the name and the biodata. From nowhere, man arrived somewhere. With the help of technology, we are everywhere. With mobile, we are all over the world. With your calling, we are everywhere. With remote satellites, we got the big area. We listen to the universe. With the help of huge science and technology, we are everywhere. The presence of man has become big and bigger. And unfortunately, overuse of technology, we are elsewhere. We have become elsewhere generation now. We have become an elsewhere generation now. We are always doing something else. We have mobile. When we are in the meeting, we are calling someone else. When somebody has arrived, we are looking for 11th person. At office, we are planning a holiday. In vacation, we are doing an office work. We are an elsewhere generation. We are in elsewhere. We are confused. In classroom, kids are doing something else, and we always feel that there is multitasking is the word that we use that makes us elsewhere. We always think there is another task which is more important while mind is elsewhere. That we have created an elsewhere generation now. We always feel that we should be doing something else, we should be somewhere else. We should be somewhere else, or we should be someone else. What is wrong with our lives? We cannot be someone else. Our small journey starts with nowhere to now here. But again, when we see now here, the present world we are in, the changes have happened, the changes are challenging, the changes will happen. But when we examine the world now here, there is a problem we see. This will help us to guide us how we should change. So most important, even in the Google map, when we are trying to search for a location or search for a route, first the Google map tells us, show me your location. If you say, I don't want to show your location, you never will find the way. So in trying to change, first we have to find our location. Where are you? Where you stand with your family or friends or business in the system? In the moral compass, where do we stand? Until we engage our location, we will not be able to find the way. We will not know where to go. So again, the simplest, most important thing is the change we do welcome. We are not foolish. We welcome that. While we love to change, the most important thing, the change we do welcome. We are not foolish that we welcome change. While we love to change, the problem is we don't want to change. The change we all want. What's the vacation? The meaning of vacation. A vacation is a change of place. We cannot have a vacation in our home, right? A vacation is a change of place. It's the same family with the same problem, with the same recurring. We go to another place and fight. That's the vacation. We talk about home, we talk about past life, we talk about grudges. We have vacation, but just simply a change of place. We feel good about it. What is relaxation? Change of activity. The professionals always sitting in the office, for them a boat ride is a relaxation. We do a small different change of activity, we feel relaxed. Now we want to know what is happiness, a change of attitude. With the same people, if you see all of ourselves as a competitor, we won't be relaxed. If you see all of us as friends, we will be relaxed. A simple change of attitude gives us happiness. We don't need to be to do wonderful things to bring back the happiness. So change we do welcome. And we know change takes us everywhere. But the problem is, We love change, but we don't love to change. The change is not bad. Why is it affecting us? As Alvin Toffler said in his book, Future Shock, change is not hurting us. It's the rate of change, the speed. The change is not bad. Why is it affecting us? As Alvin Toffler said in his book, Future Shock, change is not affecting us. It's the rate of change, the speed. See, the vacation is great. But if you have the vacation in one day, 10 vacations, meaning you go to Rome, then fly to Berlin, then fly to London, then you go to Chicago, and you said you had a great vacation, is it possible? The rate of change destroys us. Even in activities, we had a wonderful day, horse riding, swimming, then I ran, mountain, climbed the mountain, then, you end up in the ICU. You did too much. The rate of change, even in mind, if you keep changing your mind every 5 minutes, then people will call you mad. That is madness. So, it is not the change it hurts you, it's the rate of change. And how we can control the rate of change? I believe. What is the problem of climate change? Climate has been changing throughout the world with or without the man. But what would take thousands and thousands of years, man is helping us to do 100 years. That's the problem. It's like somebody is going to die in 100 years, naturally. If you are helping him to die, it's called murder. We can't. Anyway, you're going to die. No. So climate change, I'm going to put it in a perfect perspective. The change happens. The rate of change is going to be more difficult. When somebody comes to and asks, I think I love to change, but I can't change my attitude, my thinking, my skills. I can't change. I want to tell something to take back. Whether you take it or not changing, or you can. Talk about our own body. 20 years ago our face was different, and today our face is different. Forget about 20 years. Even in single day our face changes many shapes. Either we are sad, happy, lonely, or depressed. In one day, our face keeps changing. Forget about the face. Let me talk about the hardcore facts. Every 20 years, the entire cells of the heart are replaced. Heart changes every 20 years, physical. Every 10 years, every cell in our bones, entire set of skeleton changes every 10 years. Every 5 years, every hair changes, every cell changes. Every 5 years. Every 8 months, the nail changes, completely changes. Every 4 months, the blood cells change. RBC completely changes and replaced. Every 3 months, liver completely changes. Every 21 days, every cell in our lung changes, completely replaced. Every 2 weeks, every cell in our skin, we get a new skin, but it doesn't look the same color. It looks the same way. Every cell on our skin changes, replaces itself. Every 10 days, every cell in our tongue changes, the taste buds change. Every 3 days, every cell in our intestine changes. And you tell me you can't change? That doesn't go down well. If your body, if your face, your mind changes continuously, why can't we embrace change consciously? If we embrace the change consciously, we have more control, we have more direction, we can move in a better way. The only way to embrace change, we have two options. Either we embrace the change with change by changing ourselves. There's no point in the world changing if you don't change. So coming to the conclusion for this week, there was a boy. They were in the school. There was an essay competition. The teachers asked the one thing that you want to change this world to make it better. Somebody said industry, somebody said roads, somebody said security, somebody said safety, somebody said environment. So many people said so many different things. One little boy, he came up with an idea saying, one thing that I wanted to change in this world to make it better, it would be me. I think we should learn to take the leap from that boy's wisdom. You want to change the environment in your own office? Start changing yourself. If we want to change the environment in your own home, first person should be you. If we want to change your own worldview, change yourself. Embrace change by changing. That means changing your own self. And see what happens if you decide to change a little. So what happens is the ability to go from resisting the change to embracing change. It can happen. It may not happen overnight, but that's okay. The next time you are faced with an experience which causes your reality to change, take a deep breath and take a step back. Try to see the situation from outside the box. It is okay to be mad or frustrated. You're human after all. But once the emotions have calmed down, just remember that we are all work in progress. Rome was not built in a day. Neither were you, right? Until next week, take care. Goodbye.